What's up, y'all? Shuffle, and this is a video I wanted to do for a while. And having all these new players coming in with Kingdoms, Abomination, all that, I feel like it's a good time to do it. And this is something I talk about a lot on stream, and I'm actually going to try and show what I mean, because there's no dedicated video to it. And this is something that, like, I conceived, but, like, I know a lot of people also kind of feel the same way, so I'm not saying, like, I'm the creator or something like that, but, like, this is something I started noticing back from, like, DD1, and DD2 has kind of the same game pace, and that is the 4-round rule for combat. What I mean by that is you want any fight that is not a boss to be over by round 4. Doesn't always happen that way, but that's kind of what you're trying to shoot for. And the reason that I end up suggesting this is because that having fights end in 4 rounds, you can see there's 4 enemies, right? And sometimes there's a size 2, so it'll be 3 total, but like 4 actions. Anyway, if you're going through regular combats in 4 rounds, that's a really just good general sign of efficiency. It means that you have a good offensive game plan, and being able to go through fights quickly means you're minimizing the incoming damage, so it's really good long term as well. Bosses don't usually follow this because they have too much HP and a lot of mechanics, but for bosses I would say 6 to 8. The reason for this is a lot of fights usually start going haywire if you go past about 8 rounds. Dreaming General is a good example. If Dreaming General is not dead on turn 8, usually you have a bunch of bad relationships and the run's about to die in 2 hours. Leviathan, another lair boss, if you go up to 8 rounds, like a long time, you're just taking a bunch of extra damage, so you might not actually finish it. Librarian, if you go to 8 rounds, he's already ignited and just nuking you, right? So you can kind of see 8 is decent for a lot of bosses, but for this example, I'm going to show this fight, another, and then maybe one more. We'll see what I end up finding, because I'm just going to go through a region. And I'm just working with the starter team with just 1 or 2 change skills. No paths, all wanderers. I do have memories on this one, but it shouldn't change too much. I got these, just hitting some stuff in the valley. But yeah, just stuff that most people are going to have and experience, just to show you what it looks like when, you don't have anything or whatever. Because you can do this at any point in the game. You just need to be able to understand a couple things, and that is how to, get your offense facilitated so it's going efficiently, and that you are able to prioritize threats in your fights where they don't have a chance to disrupt you or, hit you really hard, just cause something where you have to skip turns or heal and whatnot. So just looking at these here, just to give you an example, things I like to look for are just target priority. That's usually what I pick first in a match. These guys are all the same. This is actually a great example because all these gaunts are the same. So you would think it's for the same enemy. It doesn't matter who I actually kill, right? Actually, be surprised. Even with these dudes. With Filthy Morsel, they can only use this in the back. They charge forward and they blight you and they hit the front too. Or they use Chomp, which also only use it up front, does damage, gives you stress, and then diseases you. This can't happen in the valley, but this can happen later. Just even looking at the Lost Soul, between these two, I would rather get hit by the Blight, because damage is the easiest thing to heal in this game. Stress, a bit harder to heal. Disease is very hard to get rid of. Usually have to do something about that. So even just with that, even though we have a mash of 4 things that are the same enemy, we're looking to kill the front 2. And just looking here, using our very helpful turn order, we notice that the second gaunt is going immediately after Grave Robber. So you think, oh, let me just hit this, try and crit it or whatnot. But no. You would actually, in this situation, most of the time, again, threat priority and all that, but you go for the front one. And the reason for that is there's no conceivable way that Grave Robber, just with her damage ranges and all that right now, is killing this. The other one up front, though, with her turn, Man-at-Arms, and Dismiss, that should be more than enough damage. Probably just going to take 2 of them, might take all 3. But so this way, we're still going to get hit by 1 Chomp, but this way we can get rid of the other one. And the thing, I know I'm just sitting here talking, but the thing also before we like start killing stuff here is the term action economy, the phrase, I know some people dislike it or whatever, but it's still relevant here, right? It's carryover from tabletop games, but any turn-based game, you want to limit the amount of turns the enemy gets and then have the most efficient turns on your side. So in this case, if I don't kill, or if I try and kill this first or kill something else, they still get 4 turns most likely. If I kill this, it's down to 3 turns, and there's also a dangerous turn to get rid of, just to show you what I'm talking about. We're just gonna slap this dude, we're gonna kill him, hopefully with someone else, and I think, yeah, he's coming up right there, see? So, again, couldn't do much about that. Grave Arbor hit for 6, could have hit for a little bit more. We're gonna have to spend both turns hitting this. Even though Highwayman hits for 4 to 8, I don't want to chance that it's about a 50-50. I'd rather overkill. You'll see some disagreements about that, but I personally would just rather overkill. Hit for 6. Never would have mattered. So now we're getting this little endless wall of filthy morsel. But again, with 4 rounds, you're kind of shooting for killing one thing per turn. And the other reason you want to do this too is because once you get down to 1 or 2 units, ideally they're the least threatening ones, especially like in Darkest Dungeon 1, it'd be like the tank enemies. And that's when you try and extend the fight and stall a little bit, possibly, to heal and recover, especially if you're really beat up. So even though I say something like a 4-round rule, it's okay that the fight goes like 5-6 rounds. The thing that I'm trying to get across is that the fight needs to be handled in 4 turns. Ideally sooner, but you want the fight so controlled and safe after 4 turns that it doesn't matter what the enemy gets. Like, that you have no threat left after that. So looking at these, you know, we could try and do some action economy stuff here and get some 50-50s, hit some blinds, maybe they'll miss. But again, looking here, right, we have this Lost Soul. It's got Chomp. We don't want to get hit by Chomp. I don't know what the next turn is yet. So just to err on the side of caution, because I don't know what the speed rolls are, I'm just going to try and hit this. It didn't matter if this didn't make it in. Like, if this blade didn't go through, it was okay. Just, you know, it happens. And so we're going to hit this guy again. Okay, 1 off. The blight, always check your damage, by the way. It's always good to count damage. And right here, you know, this, it's going to survive 2 turns. Something I will say, though, sometimes it's okay to leave certain enemies that don't feel very threatening up if they're going to guarantee die like damage over time in like 2 turns. Because you have to do something else that's more important. You have to just do risk assessment. That comes with understanding the game a bit more. And let's see. This guy's here. I might be able to... I can't high roll it, so I'm kind of in a weird spot. But I might just soften this one up anyway. And then there's no grape shot early. That's kind of sad. So yeah, we end up killing that. I could have let it go, but I'm just trying to show how we're keeping the pace of the combat here. And let's see, this guy hasn't gone yet, right? So we're always trying to make sure, especially with damage over time, you want to get it on enemies that have not acted yet. Say, even if it resists, you know, at least we tried. So we got a bit of blade here, but like I said, HP is the easiest thing to heal. This front one, I can definitely kill this with 2 people. So we're going to slice this dude down. Again, we took another turn off. So turn 1, they got 3 turns, not 4. Turn 2, they got all 3 turns, I believe. Turn 3, 2 turns or 1 turn, depending on who's left. I think it's just the 1 turn here. We hit this. Not quite enough damage. You can even taunt in that kind of situation if you really want to, just to funnel damage, but... A random burn? Does she have like Pyromaniac? She does. Okay. That was not indicative of a normal circumstance. Also, I'm playing in Denial, but I will only use 2 Mastery just to have it simulate more consistent runs. So I'm going to skip ahead to our next good-looking fight. Here's our second fight example, and this is going to be an interesting one because the Tangle, in terms of like the 4-turn rule, they're, or a guideline, if you want to remember all the way back to Jeffrey Rush as Captain Barbossa. Way back when. They're pretty tanky, they have block, they can revive each other, they have guard, like they have ways to really just slow you down. And, you know, against a knight, with the buff that that thing gets when it's low HP, you don't want to like rush it down, anything. So Tangle's a bit of an interesting one. Fetter kind of falls into the same group where they're just really hardy enemies. Anyway, we're going to follow the fundamental rule that I've been talking about before anyway. The bishops, kind of a weird match to get 2 of them, but they revive other dudes. They cannot revive each other. And they need 2 tokens to revive. So this is what I'm saying, when you're analyzing threats, it's good to know what they do. So that's experience. You can also check the academic view. Hold Alt. Look at it. Also middle mouse button. But no one uses that. So the 2 points I put in were Poison Dart and Pistol Shot. Just, you know, really generic things. And just a little bit of extra damage because... For one, I'm coming to this region where damage from the enemy is a big thing, and they're tanky, so I want to make sure that I can do the necessary damage quickly. Even though there are 2 right here, which one do we pick? We can pick the middle one, because all 3 people can hit it on our team, and it's going after this team, or the first 3 people here. There is a reason to hit this one too, because sometimes it's better to just get the back rank out of there so more people can focus fire this later, especially with damage over time, because you can start that early. But let's go with this one. So resist unfortunate. Just shoot it. Nice. Good job, Dismas. And then play grenade. Hopefully it's 6. Okay. Oh, they both went together. Interesting. Yeah, so purge. Spend 1 token there, that dies. Thing to note also when you're assessing threats, knowing how their abilities work. The bishop revives on 2 benediction. 1, it uses purge the unworthy. Since it only has 1 left, I'm not even remotely concerned about it reviving anything if this was a different enemy, because it can't. So looking at what we have here, we have 2 enemies that are, you know, somewhat tanky, and they can hit the first 3 of our parties, so... One of the few times that I'll advocate for Taunt. I'm not a big fan of the Taunt token, but this is where it kind of shines, where we want to make sure these dudes aren't slamming into our squishies, although, you know, they have block tokens, but still. Gonna hit this. This will help us chip off their block tokens as well. So if you have the option, you know, try and put all your damage into... the big threat that has no protection, and then for the other stuff, if it has like block and dodge, just chip it down. Like low damage things, low effectiveness things in terms of like damage. You're just kind of looking for things that get rid of their defenses like tokens. So we're gonna hit this again. Nice, that should stick. All right, 7. So here is an interesting thing. I'm gonna let this dude just melt to blight. He can't revive anything. If it uses penance to get more benediction, it just does nothing, and then it dies next turn, which is great. So this way I can start focusing on the other stuff. And just looking at my own team with Grave Robber, it doesn't really matter which one of these 2 I hit, so... this guy's got blind, so I don't care if he's alive longer right now. So I guess we're just going to try and, you know, see if we can burst this thing down. Even if we can't kill it, at least we can get it down to Death's Door, where it gets weakened, it gets slower, all that kind of stuff helps your action economy. Ow. Game, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to teach. Alright, 2 damage, hopefully 6. Nice, okay, Death's Door at least. You know, make sure, you know, if it's not dying, you're getting Death's Doors because of the debuffs. And this thing dies, it has no death armor. Random crits from Weaponsmith, okay. Yeah, just doing all the damage we need to. And again, not, you know, we're only hitting this with a couple, we only have 2 moves upgraded for damage. And this fight's over, right? Turn 3. So here, I don't have to hit anything, I don't have to do anything else. They're all dead, especially because they went after me. So it's like, if I had heals that I could throw out that would stick, I'd start dropping them on, you know, the people that need them, but I don't. So instead, we look for other ways to maximize our downtime, or the time remaining, since everything's already guaranteed to be dead. One of them, crit fishing. I'm looking, everything has 5 crit. This hits 2 units. So in DD1, if you crit a corpse but hit a live person, it would, you know, have a chance of stress healing. Whereas in, I think both games, if you crit a corpse, you don't get the stress healing because it's not a living unit. Like 99% sure. But since we're hitting 2, even if we crit this, it should stress heal. But again, we're just rolling 5%, so it's not gonna happen. All right, and then just 5 more crit. Really nothing else to do here. All right. So no extra benefits, but again, look at that, 3 turns. Thought we'd end with the Cultist Smash in the region just to show something different, but also show how the same idea still relatively applies. And it's going to seem like a lot of the times we're just going to go focus the back line. And honestly, we kind of do, and that's because a lot of the threats are in the back. The tankier enemies are up front, they take longer to kill, so getting rid of these squishy units in the back normally helps take turns off the board, so we take less damage, less stress, they get less buffs, all that stuff. So, just looking at what we have here. The Cherub is actually the least threatening thing, so we're going to kill it last. The altar, kind of annoying, going to be kind of hard to outdamage it when it starts giving people regeneration. Right here. And then it gives people bone weaving for buffs. So, goal is going to be to kill the altar, then kill the evangelist, and then kill the cherub because it's the least important one. So we're starting to get some damage over time. Actually, not a bad time to hit a combat item if you want to, but not everyone's going to have this, so I'm just going to skip it. And then, like I said, I don't care what happens to the cherub. If I hit it, great. And let's see, this is dead in 2 turns, so leaving it alone. Don't have to hit it again. It takes the damage, it does something, then I don't have to do anything else. Okay, the 2 buffs are scary. It's a lot of crit coming my way. Kind of hard to burst these down too because of the blocks. So I think we still go for it. Still put the pedal to the floor. Oh, interesting. They still get the chance of the stealth before the altar dies. Interesting. They got some stress building up. Nice. Sticking a lot of it. No real way I'm going to be able to, yeah, burst it down. So here, there's mostly to give man-at-arms an extra block token, just in case. But otherwise, our contingency here is if they're both going to swing on me, at least I can get some damage back by using Repose. So I'm going to move up and just do a little bit of damage here, hopefully. Yeah. Mamma mia, that hurts. Oh, this is actually pretty good too, so if I don't get blinded a second time on Highwayman, I might get rid of it. Yeah, okay, cool. So it took a lot of damage though. That was a very scary turn right there. But just looking at what we have. This is a pretty good one because we get the combo effect. And it's got block, so my on-hit damage with darts isn't really good anyway. I'm gonna go for it. Start working on this one. Usually we want to focus fire, but like this guy's pretty close to gone. So let's see. Not a bad time to heal that, honestly. But these things put out so much bleed, it's not really gonna matter. So let's just focus. Alright, there's this unfortunate. Also unfortunate that it's going so soon. 4 to 6. I did 5. Never say what you need. It's the desire sensor. Because if I had 5, it would death store and I'd be much happier. But that's okay. So instead of letting this, you know, go down, take another turn, have to hit it again, I'm just going to execute it. Because I would have had to hit it again anyway, so I may as well just do it there. That's a lot of bleed. At least we got Plague Doctor. Alright. Interesting idea here. I could hit for 4 to 9, or I could try and give Grave Robber like a combo token for crit, but she's not going to crit anyway. Rather hit for 9. Alright, try and Death Dart. Oh, get it close. Again, this thing doesn't matter. Like, yeah, the damage it's proccing is a little bit dangerous, but ultimately I don't care. Like, I could just kill her right now if I want to. But no, I'm going to get rid of the Evangelist. Again, it hasn't taken its turn yet, so... removing turns from the fight. Heal this. Dies. And now, this is actually a good example of stalling here. So if I had... Again, we're on round 5, right? Fight's been handled by turn 4, just at the very end of turn 4, but... You know, if I had a couple more mastery to make my heal stronger, that'd be nice. And I know people don't like stalling, in general. But in Darkest Dungeon, your heals do not outweigh the enemy damage and stress. So being able to find time where you can to chip away at that is always, 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 always going to be good long term. We don't want to get the stall warning. Not that it really matters because we're at the very end because it lowers torch, but you know, if you're trying to avoid it mid-region, you know, just send out some attacks. Just a little bit of damage here and there, and then maybe not worry about it. Or it won't trigger, or it shouldn't. So yeah, as you see here, it used a very weak attack. It just pinged Dismiss, no more stress, no more other annoying attacks. And I could heal Man-at-Arms, that's a lot of bleed. I could have killed this right away, right? I could have just ended this fight with Audrey. But instead, we're going to try and leverage a little bit of an advantage. Alright, so there's nothing really I can do here. Just looking at it. Actually, there is something. Okay, so you have Tracking Shot. It's dying this turn, so I don't have to worry about stalling. So I'm going to give it a combo. I'm going to use Audrey to just do nothing. Going to hit Dismiss. And one more heal out. 8 more HP. Comboed. Get a little more healing on the way out. So as you see, I could have ended that fight on turn 5. But because I didn't, I got to heal well, like 8, 6, so 14, and then like 11? Something like that. I healed almost, 15 to 20 HP there. And 1 stress. Is it better than not healing in that? Yeah, of course. So that is it for our little tutorial here. It's a very interesting combat way of thinking. I apply it to both games when I'm playing, and it's not a hard and fast rule, okay? It's not like if your fight isn't over in 4 turns, your team sucks. No, it's not that. It's just a general state of mind, rule of thumb, to help you understand how not only are you performing, but the team is performing. But the team is doing what it's supposed to, killing stuff reasonably fast. 4 turns, pretty easy to handle. You still have to do damage to kill monsters. The currency of combat, to use another tabletop term, is damage. So we're killing stuff fast, we don't take as much damage, we don't need to heal as much, and all that helps. Hope this video is helpful. Let me know if it was and you want to see something else in this vein. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.